Tourneys, and this is our Gold 5v5 tournament. Welcome, and I hope you enjoy the show. I'm Pyrotechnics.
And I'm Sin. I'm going to be your color caster tonight.
Alright, guys, get ready for this one. The first match of the night is going to be Team Jenay facing off against VanIsle Rainstorm, a team we've not seen in this tournament so far. But before we get into picks and bans, we'll be bringing you a little bit of updated bracket information. First of all, a lot of teams weren't able to compete this tournament due to having too high a elo amongst their players. Diamonds, platinums, things like that. And what that ended up leading to was a much more reduced bracket, a lot of early buys, and we'll be seeing only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players in this tournament so far. So
10 teams.
A few have already moved on. Yeah, 10 teams, that is. Have already moved on.
10 players would be a very short tournament.
Yeah, that would be. Well, you have enough for a couple of matches.
Oh, yeah. 10 teams is still plenty, and we should be able to get some good games out of it. Gold tournament is always extremely competitive, so hopefully with like some of the highest elo teams falling out of the bracket level, we're going to see some even closer games, which would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, the bans were really quick to come out. We are still waiting on the last one, but Team Jenay opted for a lot of jungle and mid laners. They went with Yasuo, Pantheon, and Kha'Zix. And remember, this actually is going to be played on the 4.4 patch, so this is post some of the recent changes to Kha'Zix.
Yeah, the changes shouldn't... I mean, he's still a super powerful jungler. We've seen that. I mean, he still has that incredible kill potential, and he still has good wave clear, but people still haven't gotten used to the changes. People still want to ban him out just because you have expert Kha'Zix players, and you really don't want to give them Kha'Zix.
Yeah, hopefully Insec isn't ghosting into this tournament, smurfing it as it are. The other team, the VanIsle Rainstorm, they opt to ban a little bit more tanky junglers and a few top laners as well. They take out Renekton, LeBlanc, and Wukong.
Yeah, I like those choices. Wukong, very strong jungler, has been for a while now. His initiation is incredible. His team fight is incredible. He's very slippery, kind of like Lee Sin in that respect. Very hard to keep track of, get a hold of a gank or during a gank. LeBlanc, super strong mage, has taken people way too long to start banning this champion out. Snowball's really hard. She's scaled really well into the end game now. And Renekton, well, he's just the dominant croc on the top lane. Makes sense.
Yeah, they don't really want to deal with him, and well, they won't have to anymore. So instead, Jenay is going to first pick Lulu, a very popular common mid pick, and can still be viable as a support.
Yep.
And then they go ahead and pick up Jinx afterwards, or at least they're hovering over her.
Yeah, and even with the changes to Lichbane, Lulu still should be. She's still an incredible threat. She gets enough AP. She can full clear lanes. She gets up to something way over 100% move speed bonus near the end of the game. She's an incredible pickup in the lane, very safe, very hard to kill. Makes sense to take her. I mean, keep her away from the other team.
Yeah, but they do unfortunately give up a couple of really high-powered picks too. One of the few junglers left open gets picked up by the Rainstorm right away. Captain MG locking in that Vi, and they immediately go with Morgana after that.
Yeah, Vi, super strong jungler. And they took away the Morgana, who is the hard support counter to Vi. Black Shield, whatever target she assault and batteries to, and it just stops her CC entirely. Great choices to respond to that. If you're going to take one of the best junglers, also take their counter pick in the support lane.
Yeah, and then unfortunately though for Jenny, I think they kind of opted for a bit of a self-counter with their support. They opt for Thresh. Now, it's not to say that the Thresh gets completely shut down by a Morgana, but it does make his landing hooks a lot more difficult. And just to be on the safe side, they took Sivir as well. So Dark Binding's likely not going to be hitting too many targets in that bot lane if she pulls it right.
Well, it looks... The thing about that bot lane now is that you're going to have... And with Draven being locked in... Sorry, I'm looking over at the stream. With Draven being locked in, you're going to have a very weird back and forth game because Thresh is a stronger support in the support lane or in the bot lane because of how much ratio is on his abilities and how good his auto attacks are, how tanky he is. If Morgana misses a binding, their damage output is going to be minimal, and she'll be only able to contribute a Black Shield to a fight, and it will be Draven versus Sivir and Thresh in that bot lane. So it's really going to be up to Sivir.
Yeah, I
or
really
sorry,
think
to Draven, rather.
that Rainstorm's going for a super pokey bot lane, because between that Morgana, we've all seen her really, really popular
Yeah.
on the new and improved Frost Queen's claim, and Draven, one of the better poking. It's very situational, but I think
Extremely
he works pretty
good
well against
potential.
Sivir, though.
Yeah, he does pretty well against Sivir. Doesn't get pushed too hard too quickly because of his increased D from his spinning axes. However, spinning axes is kind of a vulnerable thing to play against Thresh. If there's no Black Shield, then a Thresh hook can sort of maybe predict where you're going to go, or a Flay comes out. It's a little bit more difficult for Drum, but he still should have a pretty good bot lane.
Yeah, I think so too. They also ended up locking in for Team Jenay. They ended up with the pony for the jungle. Well, possibly for the jungle. They also have an Olaf. I think we can see either way.
Well, Hecarim really has to be in the jungle. I've never seen Hecarim do really well. I've seen him be successful, but overwhelmingly so. Olaf has an extremely powerful lane presence, but I just don't understand these Hecarim pickups. I've seen them 2 or 3 times in pretty high level play, like platinums, diamonds, gold players picking up Hecarim. I can't understand what the draw is. I mean, there are other junglers out there that I think do a better job than he does.
I think they really go for the high pressure ganks. He has an incredible speed boost. He's got the stun, so he's got a bit of CC, and he's the kind of jungler that doesn't take kills himself. He allows the other laners to pick up kills, and he can be everywhere on the map all at once. Even with the Moby Boots nerf, he's still a really viable pickup, and I think that's really what Jenay is going for. They're going for a catch-out comp.
They're very fast, that is true.
That Olaf, once they get to the teamfight stage, that Olaf is going to have a real hard time getting caught. Even though the final pickups that Rainstorm went to were Gragas and Shyvana, so 2 real nice gap closers.
Yeah, very good gap closers.
As well as some nice drain magic too. So let's run down each of the lanes here. We've got the top lane is likely going to be that Shyvana up against
almost certainly.
Olaf.
Yeah, we're probably going to see Shyvana against Olaf. And
that's a tough one to call because we haven't seen a lot of Olaf lately.
I saw him recently in the LCS, watching. I forget who it was, or was it the Katowice tournament? Either way, it was recent high-level competitive play. Olaf versus Shyvana, and I think this is why people are taking this matchup. Why Olaf is coming back, and he works like Trundle. He's a very good anti-tank. His ability to smash through defenses with his true damage, reckless swing, extremely powerful against Shyvana, who gets that base resistances as well as her dragon form, which increases those resistances even more. He can just ignore those, and that's what makes him so strong. So I understand why people are making that matchup, and if Shyvana plays well, she should still do okay in lane.
Yeah, he's really a bruiser to beat up bruisers. That extra lifesteal he gets from his W as well as his attack speed buff is pretty nice too. But let's move on to the mid lane, where we're going to see Gragas, appropriately named Happy Hour, against
It's perfect.
Lulu.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard matchup. It's been done many times before. It really means that Lulu should never kill Gragas. Gragas should never kill Lulu unless somebody makes a mistake or a jungler gets a really strong gank. I can see Vi coming into that lane after a Gragas explosive cask knocks Lulu closer to the turret, so she will not have as much. She'll have more distance to travel with her speed boost, and the assault and battery will catch her. It's a good lane. It's a good lane for both of them. They're both going to get a lot of passive farm. Potential for roam is high because they both have extremely good wave clears. As soon as somebody leaves, clear the wave, push the tower, or go gank somewhere else.
Yeah, I was going to actually mention the jungle, but you segued right into it perfectly. So we're only about a minute left to go until the load screen. Let's spend the rest of it talking about our bot lane. Draven, Morgana versus a Sivir and Thresh.
I mean, we talked about this a fair bit in these champions. We said Morgana really defines that lane for them, because if those black shields are not on point, or they're off cooldown, or they're just used as aggressiveness, they can neutralize Thresh with a good black shield, but they can also completely throw Draven downhill if they are not on point. One good Thresh hook is going to see a lot of damage dropped on Draven, but he has the potential to dish it back out with complete immunity with that black shield.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is going to be a really touch and go bot lane, depending on if anyone starts getting caught early. I wouldn't even expect the junglers to really make a huge
Yeah,
presence in that bot lane because it's going to be demanded in the top and the mid
yeah,
most of the
I
time.
have to agree with that, and it's also going to be very difficult with a black shield in that lane. Hecarim won't have the knockback from run in. Thresh won't have a hook, obviously we've said, and Hecarim's ultimate will not be that terribly effective. As well as if a dark binding catches him, his gank is now neutralized, gone. Vi, on the other hand, comes into that lane. Sivir has her ultimate to speed away. She can spell shield the assault and battery. Draven has his knockback. They have escapes on both sides of the. Sorry, did I say Draven? I said Thresh. I mean Thresh. Thresh has his
Yeah.
Flay as well as his box. So that lane is going to be rough for junglers to gank into unless someone pushes just a little too far and doesn't ward properly.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit tough for Rainstorm, most of all, because they have a little bit more pressure on them coming into this tournament. Not a whole lot on their backs. I believe this is the first time we've seen them in our gold division.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see how they fare. We have a lot more wins so far of our other team here. They've played quite a little bit in a few of these tournaments, and I think Jenay, they've proven themselves as a really strong competitor. Let's see if they can do it again.
Yeah, and well, this is your favorite time, so I'll let you do the honor.
Absolutely. We have just enough time to go into the favorite part of the game. Guys, it is Skin War Best Wear. We've got lightning round really quick. X-Sivir, Championship Thresh, Broloff against Officer Vi, Exiled Morgana, Gladiator Draven, and Santa Gragas.
So advantage to
the Rainstorm. They pull off 4 skins to 3, although I do have to give kudos to the awesome limited skin combo of Pack Sivir and Champ Thresh. So that is a super duper rare bot lane. You might have to throw a Master Ball at it if you want to catch it.
Oh, he makes meta jokes.
I make Pokemon jokes. That's about all I know how to do.
All right, so quick buys coming out of both teams. Well, Lulu and Thresh lagging a little bit behind in that fountain, but everyone else has gotten out fairly quickly.
Yeah, and I like these pickups on the supports especially. You don't often see too many early Doran shields unless you're planning to get really, really tanky because of the nerfs. So Thresh picking one up really indicates they're going to try to have a bit of a passive bot lane, and Morgana taking the coin instead of the Spell Thieves, I think is going to indicate the same thing.
Yeah, we're going to say, well, I mean, Morgana doesn't necessarily want to go for anything defensive early. She wants to get that extra income. I am somewhat surprised by the choice of coin early. You see a lot of people go for the, it's the shit. What is the base level called? Is Frost Queen's Claim is the last level.
Oh, it's the Spell Thief's Edge. I always call it Frost Queen's, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the Frost Fang, which I always mix up because that's that place in Game of Thrones beyond the wall.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
that's where they fight the dead guys.
Hadn't thought of that.
Well, it's one of the places. There's a lot of dead guys.
One of the places.
All right, well, anyways, no White Walkers on Summoner's Rift just yet, and we're going to be seeing just a little bit of dodge and poke, weaving in and out, trying to feel each other out in the top lane where everyone else is clustering more towards the bot side blue and red buffs. And we'll see Stoneman making a little bit of an aggressive push onto Juicy, but I don't think he wants to take that.
Yeah, I can't see them really wanting to do too terribly much early because...
Oh, they're going to have a dance party. Oh, he ended the dance party through an axe. That's not very polite to do to a lady.
No, especially not if he's going to hit her with it.
Yeah, I mean, they made a cardboard, but still, that hurt her feelings. It wouldn't piss off a dragon, even a half dragon.
Well, he'll have to deal with that a little bit later. Hecarim starting at the red, pretty standard for him. Lets him increase his clear speed a little bit there with the increased lizard buff, the increased damage from the lizard buff. Elise Vi starting at the blue buff, heading. Well, she's gonna skip over the wolf camp. I mean, truthfully, I don't know a terribly large amount about junglers, but I always thought that wolf camp was easier than wraith camps, but I could be wrong.
Vi wants to really rush for that 6 because her ganks are so dependent on getting the assault and battery. Hecarim, on the other hand, he can get in, get out, and pull off a little bit of farm, no problem. Now, all these lanes are really bruising each other up early. Everybody but the bot lane has a lot of damage already, but Olaf healing a lot of it up. The mid lane, Gragas, Happy Hour being chased down by Banner, and now we're also seeing a little more aggression on I Bring the Lag. This could be it, though. Really taken low, but they couldn't quite pull off a chain on him. Levinen's going to back up, and they are going to try again at a later date.
Well, level 2 did go in favor of Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Team Jenay and Levodin and Solkey definitely took advantage, going in as hard as they could, knowing, oh, and they've got the hook onto Draven.
Yep,
Good
they're going to
play.
get him, though. Heartseeker gets ignited. He's not going to be able to get back in time. No, he might because he pops the barrier. Solkey gets queued. Heartseeker's going to have to back, though, lose out on a little bit of farm. And meanwhile, the mid lane, OG Banner's going to go down to first blood. Captain MG coming in with the double buffs to pick up the kill.
And that was a great play by Vi, going in on Lulu when she did not have her speed buff up or her glitter lance. She had just used them both in that lane. Perfect timing by Vi, getting the lizard buff damage onto her, and finish off the kill for first blood.
Yeah, now look at this. Vi's coming around for more. She wants to come on the other side and grab Lebanon or Solkey. I think she's coming in for it. She's going to go on to Solkey. No shield used just yet, but Captain MG's taken very low. The Q unfortunately misses out. Vi bring the lag, and Solkey now the target of focus. And forces the flash away from Captain MG because that barrier is too much for her to handle. Heartseeker 2. He actually, did he ever get out?
He never backed. He stayed with as much health. He burned a health potion to do it, which was the right play, but that black shield on Morgana needed to come out immediately. Vi taking too much damage when she was hooked.
Here comes Syllabus onto Stoneman, though. The top lane. Can he get her, though? He gets the ignite. He's going to get the last tick of it. Yep, there it goes. And Syllabus actually came around from the other side of the jungle. While Vi was bot and mid, he actually was clearing all of the camps on her side, on her top side jungle. So Syllabus actually counter-jungled very effectively.
Well, it won't affect her too terribly much, since Vi doesn't usually like to go towards the double golems. She likes to go for those larger camps where her... oh my gosh, I am blanking today. Her excessive force will increase the damage she does. Exactly.
Yeah,
well, she is going
towards the wolf camps.
Well, she did go towards the double golems. I was proven wrong, but it looks like she might want to go for a gank here on Olaf when Shyvana comes back up with her.
Yeah, but you know, Juicy's been kind of playing this really, really careful, and Vi's still not 6 yet. It could be a little bit of a tough gank. She's actually only up to 3, and you know she's got to get back in the jungle to make something happen. But now she is going to go. Here she goes. Nicely done. The Vault Breaker going in. Juicy though able to get out of this, no problem. He hasn't even gotten to 6 yet, but no amount of CC was going to stop him anyways. And Stoneman just left to farm the jungle or farm his own creeps once again. And now we're going to see Vi rotating for Banner.
Well, her red buff is about to run out. She's got almost no timer on it. She's still level 3. Hecarim has now reached level 4, and he's still farming. He's almost level 5.
Yeah, if they can pick this kill up, it'll be worth it. But I don't think they can with Syllabus in there. See, he runs in. There's the displacement their Hecarim players really love, and Happy Hour gets ignited, has to get out of there. Captain MG, the only person left in this mid lane right now, because Gragas has effectively neutralized the flash forward.
There it is.
Vader's going to pick up the kill with the Glitter Lance. Syllabus taking the tower shot.
That was a great play by Lulu there. Jumping forward to get that kill, knowing her damage output, and Vi was still only level 3. She hadn't hit level 4 yet, and that was the big factor there. No extra points in any of her abilities, no extra health, no extra defensive stats. I don't know, Vi needs to get back into that jungle and catch up.
Yeah, this is a real problem right now for Rainstorm. They're going to have a really hard time getting into this game if their lanes can't get ganked because Vi's too underleveled. Hecarim has already had 2 successful ganks, more or less. Even though Vi's picked up a kill and he hasn't, the 2 assists are, you know, fine. And the issue right now is the pressure's really heavy on the bot lane. It's going to be heavy on the mid lane, and Olaf can hold his own against Shyvana.
Oh, good flay from Thresh.
Yeah, nice black shield, though.
They did burn the ignite on that trade. Not really any benefit to come out of it, so they are going to be down 1 summoner spell, though Sivir and Thresh both still have flash up. So this is sort of a, well, this is a rough place.
Sivir's getting the better end of these trades, though. She's got about 12 more farm. She's completed an item ahead of Draven, so he's had to settle for the longsword when he first backed, and she managed to pick up the full Vamp Scepter. So far, Sivir's doing a little bit better, and I kind of like this Doran Shield into coin for Thresh, because it's given him a lot more sustain that Morgana hasn't had.
Well, it allows him to step forward and not be quite so afraid of Draven, and even if he does take harass from either champion, he can just float on back, and, well, he can just regen it, and he doesn't have to care that terribly much. Delaying the coin was not a big deal for him, especially once they had gotten such an advantage in that lane.
Not only that, when he steps up forward and Draven aggroes him, he's losing out on farm, and Draven's going to fall further and further behind because of this. Morgana not opting for that Spell Thieves meant that they're going to play this passively, and Thresh, knowing that, took full advantage of it by just saying, hey, I'm going to get in your face, and either you deal with me and lose out on farm, or I'm going to hook you.
Right, and Morgana still has not backed, sitting there with the Ancient Coin. She is leaving now, but it has delayed her build a little bit, hasn't. Well, I don't know how much gold. How much gold does Morgana have right now? She has 1,000. We'll probably see. Yeah, there's the upgrade to Nomads. She may go for a Ruby Crystal.
Yeah, but there's a
No, she instead goes for boots.
Gragas is going to have to be body slamming away while Banner and Levitt and Sulky are trying to collapse. There's the
Whoa,
hook, flash
there's the
forward.
hook.
They actually find Captain MG. There's a nice boomerang blade, and they're going to pick her up. Gragas will throw his explosive cast, but nothing doing. Heartseeker now having to be chased back to his own tower, and there is a full force of Rainstorm. They're not having the greatest of times in their own jungle right now.
No, and that was a great transition. Knowing the timer on that blue buff, at least that Vi would be heading in that general direction. And they've gone in.
They're really running these objectives.
And that's exactly what they wanted to go in there, try and contest on the blue, got a kill for it, which was exactly what they wanted. No more Gragas ultimate, the jungler is down, and that signals, hey, let's go in, let's take the dragon. That, I expect, was probably their end goal. They wanted that dragon more than they wanted any sort of kill or blue buff.
Well, they're taking it masterfully. I mean, they've been putting pressure on all these turrets. It's been a very slow going, and we haven't seen a ton of kills in this game.
Oh, there's the block.
He doesn't get the hook, though. That's not quite enough. Heartseeker is going to take a bit of damage. And now they're turning around for Levitin, though. Pool is under her feet. The spell shield getting popped. She actually has to ult to get away. The ignite will finish her off, but I bring the lag, gets that kill, which means Heartseeker will have to settle for an assist.
And that does not help Draven nearly as much as it should. He could have gotten a ton of gold out of his passive there. Probably something like 200, 300 bonus. It would have helped him out a ton. It would have caught him up to Sivir. Exactly, it would have put him exactly where he should have been. Here comes Ult in the top lane.
He's just going all the way in. And actually, it's going to be Syllabus who picks up the kill onto Captain MG. A little bit too aggro onto the Viking, who's going to ult away. And now Stoneman chasing the pony down, but she won't be able to find him.
Well, right there, Shusi knowing exactly what his limits were, pops his ultimate. Not quite in time to stop the Vi Assault and Battery, but he got the Reckless swing off before she hit him. And that's why her health dropped so dramatically that as soon as Hecarim came in there, well, the fight was over.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really bad one, but Shusi means in German.
I have no clue.
It's like a really cutesy way to say bye, and that's exactly what Olaf just did.
Ooh. Well, you learn something new every day, right?
Yeah, well, Reckless swing to the face isn't exactly, I guess, that cutesy, but it was enough. And mid lane, OG Banner taking a couple of pokes from Happy Hour, but they've kept it really even, despite the one death that Lulu did have from the early gank by Vi. And the only real difference in these builds right now is the double Dorans versus, a bit of an earlier finish to that Athene's. And I think that isn't really enough to work out too heavily in the favor of Gragas. He's only up about half a dozen farm. So
that's kind of standard for him. It's kind of expected for Gragas because he wants to get to that Athene's as soon as possible, and he is a little bit more tricky with his drunken rage mixed in there.
Yeah, he looked like he was going down to bot lane, but he'll just rotate back to mid. Vi's really got to make something happen for this team because she has not really been able to do much, and kind of have been, frankly, a squishier target. I mean, they opted to pick her up instead of Stoneman in the top lane. What does that tell you if you're Vi and you're not that tanky? And this is the problem with post-nerf Vi. She has a little bit of a choice to make in do I want damage or do I want tank? And she's going to finish her jungle item up first, which is good. But, she might not be able to deal the damage.
Yeah, and that's kind of standard for Vi right now, is that more people want it. And there's an engage onto the bot with the black shield.
Lag gets picked up. Nice black shield, but it's a little bit late. And Sivir's going to ult. Sulky coming in, but no, they're caught both by I Bring the Lag's ult. And now here comes Syllabus in from a lantern. He's going to go right onto I Bring the Lag, but now Sulky is extremely low, has to pop the barrier. Syllabus still chasing solo. Another barrier comes out of Heartseeker, and Syllabus will go home, but no, he won't. There's a Q and a Dark Binding, and that's not going to be enough. Gragas trying to pick up the kill. He does land one. Sulky goes down. Happy Hour picks up a double, but now he's chased down by Syllabus. There is a lot of blood in this bot lane.
And you know what? That actually turned out pretty well for the Rainstorm team there. They picked up a double kill, got both bot laners, got some of the pressure off this. Not currently pressure off the bot lane. But Lulu is dangerous right now. She still has her ultimate. I don't know. They probably could dive if they wanted to.
This is not a wise decision how low Draven is. He could toss his spinning axes. I don't believe he used them in that fight, the ultimate, I mean. And
he did.
This is deceptive because they have Vi. Oh, he did. Okay. So, it's a touch and go thing. They haven't been able to take any towers anywhere, but so far Jenay has been doing the most damage, wearing it down, letting minions push up to it, and forcing the reaction out of Rainstorm. But they did a really good job there because even though they got picked up, Morgana had left them so low And so at Heartseeker, that it allowed Gragas to come up there and pick up a double kill before he took himself out, and that was a decent trade. It was 3 for 2, and they're not so far behind they can't afford that.
Right, and with Gragas scaling so well into the end game, he'll be able to basically eliminate Sivir from the game if she's not fast on her spell shields.
Looks like we are going to see the first tower fall, though. Lebanon, nope, they're getting chased away by Vi. They really want to defend all their bases right now, and I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been more attrition gained. Syllabus just farming up double buffs in the jungle. He'll be scary again soon.
We see Shyvana going a little bit aggro on Olaf. She still has her dragon form, but Olaf has incredibly good sustain in that top lane with his increased lifesteal from, I believe it's Berserker's Rage.
Now both the teams are building really standard.
Strikes.
There's no deviation that I've seen that much, and like look, the big difference in that top lane is 40 farm, which is bad for Shyvana, but it happens. We'll talk about it later because Lebanon's getting jumped on. Assault and battery lands it. He's not going to survive very long. Sulky's going to have to get out of there. Spell shield was popped now. Banner is chasing out in Happy Hour. Could be a back and forth for both teams, but Vi is in hot pursuit. If she can get there, though, the officer might just be able to save Santa.
Santa, you are warded, buddy. You cannot stay in that bush.
He does dodge the Clear Lance. That was a nice explosive cast, and now Banner is extremely low, but Syllabus will come in there for the defense. No. I don't think Vi's going to get there in time, and yeah, she backs away, realizing she can't take on Hecarim. He's been out jungling her this game so far.
And he does have a finished Elder
problem,
Lizard.
Though.
He has a finished Elder Lizard, or sorry.
He has the Elder Lizard. She's probably going for that Golem, but
oh
Vi's
no.
just been far and far behind.
Oh,
wow, chasing it through the jungle right now.
Oh, good
she has
push.
the good mobility, but no, there's going to be a dash in, and Captain MG being chased away. Syllabus getting poked by a barrel, but he really doesn't care. He actually might pick up this kill. No, he'll turn around and back away because 2 tower dives is a bit rich for the pony.
Yeah, you want to go in and be a second turret. That just invites kiting, and that invites Gragas to go in there and say, I'll body slam you again.
No, but they turned around, and they're going to take this dragon, the second one uncontested. So Jenay going to extend their gold lead up another 1,000 or so. And actually, they find bring the lag on the outside by herself. She has a spell
Good
shield
black shield
to get out of that safe, and yep, spell shield, black shield. I'm mixing way too many up.
Well, there's one on each team, so
well, it's
as long
kind
as
of not
there's a shield.
fair. I can't keep all this vocabulary in my head.
That's understandable. So we see, well, the bot tower does go down, the mid tower does go down, and another dragon. With all those objectives, the gold lead has stretched to about 3,000. Kills are still 5-5. Greg is kind of keeping them in this right now. Draven and Morgana both keeping one on. That gold lead needs to be shrunk. They need to start farming a little better. They need to... I really don't know what to say at this point because they've got such a uphill battle to try and fight through that kind of push potential. They have Lulu and Sivir on one team, which is so hard to deal with.
They're almost hesitating to go in on this obvious 2v1 like in the top lane. Juicy's going to be taken really, really low, but look at how much damage he's being able to deal to both Captain MG and Stone Man. And they're going to turn this around if Hecarim gets in the area, but Gragas is also looking to collapse. This could potentially be a 3v2 if they want to fight it, but I don't think they do. And around the other side of the jungle, Lulu's going to back up and meet with Hecarim, and they're just going to go for...
the blue buff.
Yep.
Well, Olaf, he didn't... Dragon form was not used by Shyvana. Assault and battery was not used by Vi. They could come back.
She might use it now, though. This is a
no, she's too scared. She's too scared of Olaf right now.
Look at how low she was taken, and there's nothing more dangerous than a low health Olaf.
Yeah.
It chunks you that much harder unless you can kill him. And a bruiser against a bruiser, that's exactly what you don't want. No one's going to be in trouble here because Hecarim's coming around the side too. But in the meanwhile, I bring the lag, almost lands on Sulky with the cube. No, Heartseeker gets folded. There's the box. Draven says, I'm going to axe you all day. And he asks a big question, but now they take out Stoneman in the top lane, and that's the answer. Sulky, though, gets assault and batteried onto him. Lulu is coming in to try and defend. Ult's on. Captain MG's going to have to flash away. Will he get out? Santa Gragas coming in with the explosive cask, and he's going to pick up OG Banner, or will he? It looks like they're going to have to take all 3 of them. I bring the lag gets the kill at the end of the day.
So that Morgana now has... Oh, he does a flash
nice
slide!
Body slam!
So well
done.
That was
unexpected by Happy Hour, and
yeah,
totally
caught me completely off guard. Great play by him.
Dude, you better watch out.
This Gragas has got moves, man.
He is the shining star right now. of Rainstorm, and if they can rely on him getting big and fed and keep Draven from harm, I mean, they're doing pretty well. The top lane is getting the most beat up, and Shyvana still held her tower, so I think they're very much in this. They've swung the kill lead around. They're only down about 2.5k now, where they were up down 3 before, and Grog is picking up those kills and roaming at the exact right moment has given Jenay a run for their money.
You're exactly right. And Shyvana, I mean, she is getting pushed around, and she probably will continue to be pushed around for quite some time. She needs to get to that Sunfire Cape, needs to get to that Blade of the Ruined King, but she can't continue to fight Olaf. She's now 2 levels down. She is over 50 CS, and this is climbing up to almost 70, and
yeah,
she's going to lose this turret.
Answer, but Heartseeker doing a little bit of a ballsy move there, dives in 2v1, and I don't think that's really the smartest move for him, but he does back off. Now Syllabus chasing down Stonearm. This is going to be a real big problem because this tower's low. Syllabus taking shots, but Juicy doesn't really care. He's going to keep poking away at it, and they will take the second tower of the game. Stoneman having to back away. They're looking to collapse, but Lulu's right around the other side too, so with Banner up in the top, there's nothing they can do about this. They're going to hope for a Gragas roam, but they really got to get 4 or 5 people up here to do something about this combination.
Yeah, smart move by Shyvana to back away from her turret. Doesn't push, doesn't try and stick around just a little bit more of a pest. But Olaf, they wanna make a play here, but I just don't know if they can. Olaf's scary. They do catch Morgana here. Good lantern over.
Nice Black Shield though, but still taken really, really low. They're gonna get her out of here. She tries to ult, but no luck there, and Stoneman is getting pushed down by Syllabus too. So the mid lane, now the focus of aggression for Team Jenay, and they have enough poke to take this one down. They actually find
another one.
Happy Hour pulled in, but he gets ulted. Vi wants to go in there, but she is not going to while there's no one to support. And they're going to have to let this tower fall if they don't do something soon. Morgana's down. Draven's a little bit far behind. This is a dead tower, and here comes the flash in. Leviton finds Happy Hour. Explosive cast zones, but it's not going to be enough. Juicy picks up another kill. Killing spree for him. Stoneman now the next target of aggression. He's going to get out just fine. Soulkey taken low, but still in the back lane, very much alive. And they survive, get a couple of kills, and a tower. Nice job by Team Jenay.
That fight lasted about 3.16 seconds. That was so fast. Every ultimate was thrown down. I saw a box. I saw a Gragas ultimate, Lulu ultimate, Hecarim ultimate, Olaf, like everything came down all at the same time. And the turret went down, and everybody on Team Jenay got out with low health except Sivir. Sivir was the only one who walked away with more than half health.
Yeah, this is just the hallmark of a fantastic team composition, a fantastic positioning by Team Jenay. They've managed to get in there, get out, come out ahead, even though it looked so incredibly close. And really, kudos very much to Rainstorm. They did really, really well. They just barely lost people, and they had to give up the tower because the siege was too strong. They never had a full 5-man on it.
Right, and Gragas got hooked the first time, took more than half his health off the one trade, and then Thresh said, hey, you know what, guys? I'm going to flash hook, and I'm going to get him again. Let's go. Gragas, to his credit, did get his ultimate off, though.
This is the thing I really love about these tournaments is that you don't see any ridiculous snowballing in the early game. These are like 2 really, really high-profile teams, and they're playing so well together. They're just Jenay is doing a slight play just about every engagement.
Their jungler has had these slightly better rotations, and I think that's really been the deciding factor. They've also decided that, hey, they want to control the dragons, and they know the timers to it. They know when they should be there and when they shouldn't. But Hecarim, here he comes on the bot lane.
Yeah, this is a scary chase, especially with no tower to fall back to. Heartseeker, actually, nice job. He hits Hecarim, but the dive-through goes on, but that will be enough to disengage, and it looks like Rainstorm wants to collapse, but they won't be able to do it, and they're going to have to settle for giving up yet another dragon.
Well, they might contest this.
5-man deep.
I think they want to.
But Shyvana's got to get there in time. This dragon's taken extremely low. The burst potential is really high. Syllabus is dealing a lot of damage as well. And
they've taken too long.
Zoning. Now they have to give this away. And yeah, they don't want to fight this. And actually, they're caught separated just a bit. Nice Q, and the explosive cast comes in there to separate people. But Juicy, he's continuing to chase. He doesn't really care if he's on his own. Yeah, they're going to settle. They're going to settle for giving this one away. But a nice dragon pickup to extend the gold lead by Team Jenay, and they've now got it up to about 6K.
Yeah, they've just increased their lead. Yeah, that's about 6K, and we see the big difference right now is that they're more coordinated, they're more decisive. Decisive, I think, is the right word for this. And she's gonna get
Bring the lag goes down a little bit out of position, and Juicy made him pay for that one. So now a 4-man Rainstorm is going to have a hard time defending their middle inhibitor turret. against this collapse that's coming. Here comes Syllabus and OG Banner up the middle, and Shyvana's a
they
little bit on the
want
right
it.
side of the jungle. And actually, they're split pushing this.
This is the right play. They're down a player. They know that they need to send 3. They're gonna go diving for him. They want it.
Alright, they really want it. Draven's extremely low, but Juicy's diving pretty far, and he's immune to the CC, so they can't get him down. But here comes the Dragon's Ascent.
Oh, good
Actually
knock.
blocked away by Banner. Nicely done. And they're going to lose this tower and then some.
And this is where Jenay has decided that they want to control this game. They want it. You know, not to say that the game's over, because it's far from over. We know
No,
that.
not at all, man. But that was just a massive outplay. I mean, did you see that? I did not know the Dragons were weak to tree stumps.
Yeah, if you use the right tree stump, every dragon can be stopped.
That was
They've
pretty
kind of
fantastic
taken-
playing from OG Banner.
Yeah, I do want to say though, Team Jenay has really taken a stranglehold on this game. They take objective when they want them now because they've gained this lead, because their Hecarim has gotten fairly tanky, their Olaf has gotten quite tanky, and their Lulu has not fallen behind. She's pretty much keeping up. They are capable of making these dives. They have Thresh, they have Silver, they have Olaf and Hecarim. All of these champions are very capable dive champions for this composition. And you know what? Sivir mixed in there, the ultimate means that they can engage or disengage whenever they please.
Yeah, not only that, through all those engagements, Jenay's been farming up. They're not letting any minions go, and they're pushing these waves really aggressively, forcing Rainstorm kind of all over the map. That's really not allowed them to group up to take these big fights and get objectives, and at this point, they have to get the perfect engagement off onto Sivir or onto Lulu to really do anything.
Yeah, and the biggest difference right now, I think, not the top lane, but it's the jungle. You see Hecarim has a finished Randwin's Omen. He's working on towards that Phage. He has an Elder Lizard, has the Merc Treads. Vi only has the Ninja Tabby, Elder Lizard, and a Giant's Belt. Truly,
Same story
like
in
she's
the top lane too. I mean, Olaf's 2 items ahead of Shyvana right now.
That's true. That is true.
And he's also
So-
4 kills and 2 deaths ahead of her.
And 2 levels. Oh no, he's only
Yeah.
a level ahead now.
They're about to be another tower too, so this is a nice 3-man push up here. And actually, Syllabus coming around the side. Can they defend this? I don't know. There's only 3. Nope, now 4. 5. Everyone's in there, but this is a bad engagement. They did not want to take this. OG Banner taking really low, but they're on the backside. OG Suchi gets the nice pickup, and they're going to get
great
some
hook onto
stuff.
Draven.
Heartseeker taking low. This is a real problem. Stoneman, though, chasing down on his Suchi. This
There's
is
the
what they
Hecarim
want.
ult.
Syllabus is going to go down. Nice pickup by Happy Hour, but this is a poor trade. They have 2 down and 1 low, and the tower being poked all to hell, and all they lost for that, for Jenay, was Syllabus.
But you know what? That's still a win. That's still a win for Rainstorm, because that could have gone even worse if Shyvana had fallen, or if they had focused Gragas instead of going towards Vi. Really, really could have continued to siege this. With Gragas still in that game, and Shyvana's still there. Shyvana's too low really to defending a turret, but with Morgana and Gragas, they can continue to defend a turret because they can clear waves. If Gragas had gone down, that turret would probably have fallen shortly after, despite how low they went.
Yeah, I suppose you're right that it's the best they could have hoped for, losing 2, keeping their turret, and still managing to pick up Syllabus. The focus is hard when Hecarim is coming out of the side of your jungle that you don't expect, and he divides your team in half. And kudos to the Happy Hour for coming in there at the right time and knocking everybody from each other and just really being an annoying presence and a thorn in the side of Team Jenay. I mean, they really just can't get the Fat Man.
Yeah, and if they're smart and they keep Fat Man alive in these fights, if Rainstorm is smart and they keep the Fat Man alive in these fights, you will still see a potential to defend at almost any point. It would have to be a 4v1 or a 3v1 of their tanky champs to continue to defend against Gragas. His damage output is still very, very high, and he hasn't finished a death cap.
Yeah.
My gosh, and
now,
Olaf
Captain
here.
MP's catching Juicy, but they don't want any piece of that, and Vi is
Not
way
at
too
all.
low to deal, and they're gonna back away. They're actually getting chased down. They want this red buff, but they don't want to die for it. I think
He
they're
still
gonna have to give
has-
this one up to Juicy right there.
Ooh, tons of wards.
Yeah, no, they're gonna get it. Oh, nice pickup.
Lulu
Actually, it
has
ends
to
up being
take it.
Banner that gets it. Nice glitter lance on that one, and they're gonna rotate around for the mid lane. Sivir's caught a little bit out here, and if they want to chase it, Heartseeker could. He gets her nice bit of an axe there, but they don't have to have the push through to keep going on it.
And this is
It
the
could be a
nice
bit of a
thing.
problem if they don't group.
This is the nice thing for Draven, is that his damage output is so high. Even with only a Bloodthirster and a Phantom Dancer, I say only, he's about the same place that Sivir is. She's not that terribly far ahead of him. damage output, single target damage output, is higher than Sivir's because of his bonus spinning axes and his increased attack speed steroid. Whereas Sivir does really well in large, tamed team fights, 5-on-5s, on 4s, where she can hit multiple people.
And this is exactly why Rainstorm has to get these catches. They have to find somebody who's isolated. Like Lulu right now is actually guarding up the mid lane. If they know that she's not being supported and that this dragon's being picked up, that is the third dragon, by the way, taking for Jenay, 0 for Rainstorm. They could really get this pick off, but they're not in position to do so. Jenay knows this. They're doing a real good advantage of taking their opponents unaware. The warding, it's great in their own jungle, but that's about it.
Yeah, they can't really leave past that one ward line. They don't even have Baron covered. They could sneak this Baron, and they'd never know it. There's so many wards in that blue side jungle against... I can't find my words right now. There are a lot of wards between Draven and the mid lane. So if they wanted to go do Baron, they would know if Rainstorm is coming their direction. Rainstorm doesn't even know this dragon's been taken. They just found out now. I mean, they can assume it's gone. They have no vision on anything right now. They're barely capable of keeping their own jungle clear.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this many wards in the enemy jungle in a long time, and they've actually completely forsaken their own jungle because there's been no
action
need
there.
to. They've lost absolutely 0 towers this game. And they actually might find Captain Empty out here. He's going to have to Vault Breaker away if he can even in time. No, he's going to flash instead. They catch Juicy on a Dark Binding, but it won't be enough to do anything but disengage. And now they're looking for Stone Man too. They want this top tower, and I think that's where they're going to go.
Yeah, and I think if they take this top turret, but well, they'd have to rush it. They can do it now, if fast.
Yeah, they have a lot of damage up, but there's no way
get
that they want to contest this. It's a nice pickup. Banner gets the last hit on it and gets a little bit of the extra gold, but they're pushing right on back. Bring the lag, wants to find a catch, but the problem is Jenay is just so far well together, and they have no pressure anywhere. There's no pushing waves. There's no towers taken. There's nothing they can really shove without risking losing an inhibitor.
Right, and I mean, this is the moment when Jenay is saying, okay, can we do the Baron? Can we bait for Baron? Yes. They 100% can.
There's the hook. Catch Stone Man. Nice thresh hook though, and they're gonna knock her all the way back. She's gonna dragon out of the box. It's not gonna be enough to take her down. Good job there. But now Sulky caught out. Vi's gonna land the assault and battery. Sulky does not spell shield, but she's really, really big. Gonna go down. Captain MG, and meanwhile they're being zoned out all the other way around. Flash away from I Bring the Lag. Happy Hour coming in there, but he's by himself now. Heartseeker's isolated.
Oh, no.
They find a nice pick. This is gonna be Draven going down. This will surely be an inhibitor after all is said and done. But he does pick up Levitin. Nice job, and I think they're going to turn around and go straight for the Baron after that 3-for-1.
Yeah, and I think that's the right play. They have, like I said, Gragas is still alive. He can still clear waves. Taking a Baron turret might take them a little bit more time than they want. This is the safest play. Gragas ultimate is down. Gragas flash is down. Things down. There's no jungler. There's no threat. They can take this for free.
And look at how confident that Jenay is doing this with 3-man, leaving their AP mid out of the equation and letting her clear the bot lane. Have no fear that this is going to be an issue for them, and they're actually going to even be able to turn around and defend their mid turret from Gragas. So there's really no problems whatsoever, and Jenay is just manhandling the situation despite losing a couple in team fights. They're just so far ahead in the gold lead now. They've extended it to 12k. They've got the Baron buff, and they can push whatever objective they want. Nicely done, and just a masterful game so far from Team Jenay.
Yeah, you can tell that they've been around for a while, that you can tell that they've had some communication upgrades compared to other teams. They spent more time on it. They've put in the effort, and it really shows. They have the good rotations, they have good team fighting, and they have good objective and decision making, and that's not a thing you see from young teams that haven't been together a while, because players don't know each other, players are confident with each other, and they don't necessarily have a definitive shot caller. And I would not be surprised if Team Jenay has one guy who makes all the calls.
Yeah, and if I had to give that to somebody, it's probably going to be Hecarim, because he's been really in the front line of every one of these fights, and he's just so tanky. Olaf is right behind him. That is a scary, scary front line for Team Jenay, and they just had no trouble whatsoever keeping the AD carry away, keeping Draven from really diving onto Sivir. They almost got her. Captain MG landed a nice assault and battery in that last fight. There was no follow-up.
Yeah, and that extra, the ultimate from Lulu was the only thing that kept her alive in that fight. The wild growth was the one thing that kept her there, and If she hadn't hit it, she'd have died with the Gragas ultimate. But I would have to disagree with you, though. I think that Thresh is the shot caller, and we should ask them if we ever get the chance.
Yeah, I think we will. We'll see what happens when we do get to our post-game interview. Well, Thresh is definitely a nice tanky champ too, because he's been a little bit overlooked by the other bigger front line, but he's making those hook plays. You got it. I will definitely admit.
And we're gonna see a siege coming out here. They're gonna try and keep these waves clear.
I don't think they want it without a lot of minions, and this is a nice job by Rainstorm to clear the waves away
Sivir,
and
though,
not
is in the
let
mid
any
lane.
cover. Yeah, Sivir's going to take this, though. This is a bit of a distraction move, but I still think 4 for 4 and 1 for 1 in the mid, that's going to be enough, and there's really just kind of a lot of resetting going on, and it's drawing it out, but the noose is tightening for Rainstorm.
Definitely. And with the Baron buff, they're not really afraid to take a little bit of harass. They'll be able to regen it very quickly. Sivir's going to put in the effort here. She wants this turret. Gragas heading over there to clean it out, but
Gragas is the biggest one on the team, and now MG comes in. Nice assault and battery, or not assault and battery, nice vault breaker in there, and they're going to chase them away once again. Another minion wave, and it resets for the third time. Ash is on the outside, and it looks like Sivir now chasing down Gragas. Happy Hour taken really low. Here comes Syllabus, but Solki picks up the kill, and they're going right onto this tower. Syllabus taking shots as he goes, but he doesn't really care.
And he will burn the ultimate to get out. The right play. Doesn't want to throw away his Baron buff, doesn't want to throw away the advantage his team has. They are now up 5 players to 4. Putting a lot of pressure in both lanes here. Sivir doing work clearing those waves.
Those boomerang blades, they hurt. You see them go right through the tanks, and it's like a hot knife through butter. And look, they're chasing them all away from their own tower. This is going to be the first inhibitor tower going down. Jenay picks it up. They will take the inhibitor as well. And I think the wise move is to rotate immediately to the top lane. They're not that beat up.
Yeah, they are going for it.
Push.
They still have the
Gragas
Baron
is still
buff.
down for 10 seconds. Yeah,
they still have the Baron buff.
It up to. It's got a couple of minutes.
I would say
Maybe like
there's
one more
probably
minute.
At the most maybe like 30 seconds. I can't quite see the timer on, but it's not gonna last too much longer.
Yeah, if I'm Jenny right now, I'm pushing this as hard as I can, give it one more wave push, try to jump onto Draven because he's caught out. They're going to make the hook. Actually, they find it on Happy Hour. They're going to lock him up in the box, but Dragon's Ascent will come in. Happy Hour's going to be out just fine. I'm now taking really low. Captain MG chased out of the fight. Suchi and Levitin are so low, but Banner gets the killing spree in the Rampage. Solki picks up the kill onto Captain MG, and how did it go so wrong? Rainstorm had this engagement, but they dropped it. 2 really low people in the back. Solki chasing on forward. I bring the lag. It's taken low. He will get taken out by Glitterlance. They're diving so deep. They have 5 low teammates, but this is all they need to do to finish this tower off, and they will also get out all alive. I cannot believe that Jenny picked that one up. Yeah, and here comes Heartseeker. He wants to make something happen. He actually will almost get OG Banner. No, he doesn't. He goes down too. No, it's actually not Heartseeker, but it was Happy Hour that gets taken out. Heartseeker, the only person left for Rainstorm. He's running the wrong way, though. His pace is fountains the other way. I don't know if he can get back to it. Olaf's chasing him down, and he's actually going to get something. Yeah, he does. There he goes. And this is going to be game over. There's a couple seconds left for everyone to revive, and this will be a last-ditch effort. Everyone is really, really low, but they didn't have the time to do it. GG. Game goes to Team Jenay.
That was an intense final moment. I think we had more action condensed into those last 5 minutes than the rest of the game combined. That was crazy. Great plays from Team Jenay. And did you see the coordination? Players getting out with almost no health, but staying in the fight anyways. They'd float in the back and say, I can still benefit this fight. I can still benefit this team. I'm going to stay here, even when I can be one-shotted by almost anybody else right now. It was incredible. Great plays from Team Jenay at the end there.
You know, I really got to hand it to Rainstorm. I thought they were going to pick those kills up, and that would have been a very different team fight. They could have pushed all the way back out, but they didn't quite count on the immense amount of peel that Jenay has. That front line is fantastic. The Thresh box slowed everyone down just enough, even though Shyvana and Vi had gotten in there. The problem was when they both dived forward on that last engage,
they just collapsed back.
Up the carries.
Yeah. 100%.
So it ended up being like they chased the 2 carries out of the fight, but they themselves were now out of the fight, so it ended up becoming a 3v3, and Jenay had the stronger 3v3 in that, and then as soon as they got those kills, they turned right on around.
Shyvana didn't have the damage. She could dive forward, and I could dive forward, but Vi would get blown up too quickly. Shyvana didn't have the damage, and Lulu with shields, and Thresh with shields, and Lulu with a wild growth, you're not going to kill somebody unless you have some help. And Vi would get blown up because Sivir is still there, and Lulu is still there to kill him. Shyvana would go down eventually, and Gragas and Draven are sitting in the back going, well, we can't kill Olaf. So sorry, guys.
And that was all the laning difference. Had the laning phase gone a little bit differently, even if towers had started to be pushed, I think it could have gone very differently for Rainstorm.
I think so too.
They were down so many items. The game was only 36 minutes. I mean, that is actually short by league standards, especially at this high level of play.
Yeah.
In the mid game for them because they just took better team fights, they had better items, and they just kept building that on advantage over advantage. And just a complete outplay by Team Jenay, but really props to Rainstorm in their first appearance in our tournaments. That was a full match.
Yeah, they did a good job. They really did a good job, and I think if they continue to play together and they continue to work on their team fighting capabilities, work on their shot calling, the rotations, and their choice of when to group up for objectives, knowing their timers and getting it down, we'll see some really good things come from these guys. I mean, if you can imagine that had been 2 towers to 4 towers, the goal difference would have been halved in that mid game, and we would have seen a very, very close. This game would have gone a lot longer.
Yeah, they might have been able to pick up a few dragons and things like that too. But GG, that was well played by both teams. Team Jenay will, though, move on to the next round. They'll be facing off against Team Bimbo NA, who made it through the first round on buys. And the rest of the brackets are actually being updated as we speak. I will be linking you in the chat after this, but they are, as it stands, Lag I Swear NA versus Martin Mystery, Gooby Goobers versus Forsaken Gaming. As we mentioned before, Team Jenay taking on Team Bimbo NA, and the last second round game will be Solo Q Pros versus the winner of Renetta and Do It No Balls.
Quick, before we jump away, your MVP for this game?
Ooh, that's a good one. And actually, I think we could get somebody in here from Team Jenay to do a quick interview.
Oh, I'd love to.
We'll be asking for that. I think I really want to hear a little bit of thought process behind their decision making.
Definitely.
If I had to say MVP of the entire game, not necessarily the shot caller, but MVP, I'm going to give it to Olaf. Olaf made a huge presence in the top lane by himself, allowed the jungler to roam around wherever he wanted. Because of his continued presence in the top lane, he helped pull apart Rainstorm. Could never cohesively push his 5 because there was always that threat of Olaf taking the top lane.
You know what? I'd agree with that, but I agree with your choices, but I disagree with your choice of MVP. I would like to give it to Hakrim for almost the same argument. He made so much work in the jungle, and he did a great job being in every lane, doing a lot of work. And yeah, my MVP, Hakrim.
All right, well, let's see what you guys think in the crowd. So, go ahead, put it out there in the chat and let us know what you think about all of that. And we'll let you know if we're going to get an interview. I think actually we had the captain of Team Jenay hop out of Gamebox, so we will not be interviewing them now. But if they played like they did that game for the rest of the tournament, I think we could be seeing more of them. So until next time, guys, that was a fun cast. We'll see you soon. And wait for the next game. I'm Pyrotechnics.
And I'm Sin. Thanks a lot, guys.